In the Fallout universe, the United States military adopted the N99 10mm pistol in 2051, and it is still quite popular among survivors over 200 years later. Instead of tackling the game with this fairly useful weapon, we will be trying out the cheap, mass-produced Chinese knockoff brand. Yes, I'm aware that this weapon is based off the Mauser C96, invented at a time in which the Ottoman Empire still existed and came out well before the N99. Regardless, can you beat Fallout 3 using only the Chinese pistol? I named myself Me Hao. I'm Asian American, so this is okay. I made a character that was focused on intelligence, agility, charisma, and endurance. I stood up for myself in the Pee Wee Vault Bully League and got my birthday presents. So, this presents a bit of a problem. This is a Chinese pistol only run, but at least on console, you can't progress unless the Rad Roach is killed here. However, as best I can tell, it's been universally agreed upon by like one other Fallout challenge runner that the Rad Roach doesn't count for a weapon-specific challenge, so we're just going to ignore this little battle. I skipped the GOAT and picked Lockpick, Small Guns, and Speech as my tag skills. 3 years later, my father abandoned me for science, and Amana presented me with a 10mm pistol and ammo. I actually found out here that if you give Bitch a weapon and tell him to save his mom, not only will he save his mom, he'll actually go and kill the first vault officer for you. Never knew this. Nothing else exciting happens until we reach Amada and the Overseer. I alerted them, ran away, closed doors behind me, and scavenged some more ammo before venturing out into the capital wasteland. After my first level up, I entered Megaton and spoke to Calamity Jane. I offered to help with the leaky bowels of Megaton. I was trying to make that funny, and I don't think it was. I broke into Moriarty's saloon and actually passed his speech check to get Dad's location. I also decided that it would be fun to tell on Mr. Burke, something I haven't done in a while. It goes quite predictably. I defused the bomb in Sim's honor, then broke into his house to steal his 20-of-a-kind Vault-Tec official bobblehead souvenir. I also got paid by his son after wandering around town for nearly 3 minutes. I took a sarcastic approach to Moira upon entering her store, and agreed to risk giving myself cancer for science. My main goal, though, was to buy a Chinese pistol. Turns out, she doesn't sell one. I irradiated myself and received my daily dose of American medical system malpractice, though it was shockingly free, so it could have been worse. I waited a couple days to see if Moira would end up stocking the pistol. Since this game plays like my love life, of course she didn't have it, so I made an executive decision. The pistol is common on raiders and some roaming traders, so I decided to set out and hope to get luckier than my New Year's Eve. Somehow, I only had to walk about 50 feet as a dead raider outside of Megaton actually had a Chinese pistol. Now here comes the biggest problem with this run. The Chinese pistol sucks. It is far worse than I ever remembered it being. It is statistically inferior in every way to the standard 10mm pistol, with the exception being its much greater durability. See, this is what you get when you buy Chinese-made junk over good old made-in-America products. To make this run easier, I decided to go straight to Smith Casey's garage, skipping everything with Rivet City and Three Dog. I went a little bit out of my way to discover Tenpenny Towers, scavenged a nearby gas station, and couldn't even kill a single bloatfly along the way. The rest of the journey went surprisingly well, and I arrived intact at Smith Casey's. I undressed in front of a Robo-Brain, looted the vault, and entered Tranquility Lane. Once inside, I decided to pick on a little girl, resulting in an electric watering can being inserted deep into one of my holes. So, I got my revenge by activating the failsafe, trapping Braun here for eternity. I left the vault, reunited with Dad, and agreed to meet him in Rivet City. From Megaton, I headed to the southeast. I discovered Grey Ditch, struggled to kill just 3 more feral ghouls, and retreated back to Megaton for trading. I found another annoying aspect of this run was the general lack of 10mm ammo carried by vendors. It resulted in a lot of extra waiting around for them to restock. After heading out again, I was lucky enough to not encounter the potential curse of Grandma Sparkles, instead resorting to stealing some of her stuff. I passed the Citadel, then decided to clear some of the mutants from Project Purity. I really don't like this gun. I reached Rivet City, reunited Dad with his lover, and agreed to continue clearing out the memorial. I'm gonna say it, this right here was the least fun part of the run. With mutants taking usually 30 to 60 shots to kill, sometimes even more, I kept being forced to leave the building, return to Rivet City, trade, and come back just to get 1 or 2 more kills, and repeat. The brute in the control room was a special form of torture, likely spawned from Satan himself in an attempt to punish me for not going to church in the past year. After a solid half hour, I finally finished clearing the upstairs. The process from before, of course, had to resume here, with another 8 or so super mutants having an asexual orgy throughout the lower parts of the memorial. On one of these trips, I made a detour to the Super Duper Ultra Mega Mart and met Brian. I stole some stuff, returned to Moira, and agreed to go to the minefield. But first, I returned to the memorial a couple more times and finished off the final super mutant. With the memorial cleared, I reached the minefield with little trouble, liberated a few frag mines, killed a man that named himself after a state, looted all the houses, and received Moira's praise. It was here that I royally effed up. Thinking I had autosave on, I appeased Moira's bloodlust by jumping off a building to cripple myself. I died, only to find out my game hasn't saved since I began clearing the memorial for the scientists. An hour of pain, suffering, and torture for absolutely nothing. At this point, I ended the first stream and didn't touch the game again for probably 2 weeks. To save time, I went ahead and redid everything off screen before the second stream. With autosave on, I successfully broke every bone in my lower body, entered the Anchorage Memorial, violated some unborn Mirelurks, and continued to work on the main quest. The Enclave arrived, Dad died, and I began the process of guiding the helpless scientists through the underground. During this time, I killed a few feral ghouls, wasted 5 hard-earned stim packs on Garza, fought some more ghouls, and eventually arrived at the Citadel. I spent way too much time getting lost in scavenging, locating the Gek in Vault 87, getting a free vacation to Power Armored Training Camp, and then learning the location of Vault 87. I arrived at Kid Nation, an underrated reality show from 2008 that I highly recommend checking out. Speech checked my way inside and entered Murder Pass. I used some sneaking, sprinting, and crippling to get through the pass, only to realize I would soon be forced into another mutant gangbang in the vault. I freed Fawkes, let him beast mode through the vault, had him get the Gek for me, and I was blinded by a flash of light from Adam himself, or maybe it was the Enclave, not sure which. In Raven Rock, Colonel Autumn committed treason, so I proceeded to sprint past his soldiers and trick his president into self-destruction. Back in Rivet City, I restocked a few more times, made my way to the Citadel, made Sarah feel special by accepting her power armor, and began the final battle. I tried to fight Liberty Prime, but my puny communist pistol was no match for his laser, mini nukes, or whatever else he used to separate my torso from all my other limbs. Of course, it wouldn't be a Fallout challenge run without a game crash, 10 minutes from the end of the game. Upon restarting the game, I completed the obligatory Follow Liberty Prime section and entered the memorial one final time. With Sarah by my side and every consumable drug in my system, we cleared the remaining Enclave from the lobby area of the Purifier. Compared to some of the guards out front though, Autumn actually wasn't too hard to bring down. I sacrificed myself to activate the Purifier and beat Fallout 3 using only the Chinese pistol. This run ended up being more difficult than I expected. Between the constant lack of ammo and the ridiculously low damage of the Chinese pistol, coupled with my own F-up from the lack of saving, this turned out to be a bit of a challenge, but I still prevailed. However, this is not the last we will see of terrible Fallout 3 weapons runs.